Hi, welcome to Unit 2. It is time to put to good use everything that we have learned over the course of last week. In particular, over the next 3 weeks, we're going to develop a full theory of how competitive markets work. We're going to do this in 3 steps. This week, in Unit 2, we're going to develop a theory of how consumers make decisions in competitive markets. Next week, in Unit 3, we're going to develop an analogous theory of how firms or producers make decisions in competitive markets. And then, 2 weeks from now, in Unit 4, we're going to bring everything together into a full theory of competitive markets where we will be able to answer some of the most basic economic questions of them all. What gets produced, how it gets produced, and for whom it gets produced. There is another goal behind this section. It will be your first introduction to the way economists think about modeling human behavior and how to think about how changes in parameters in the world, for example, changes in prices or changes in taxes or changes in market structure, have on consumer behavior, on individual behavior, and also on how well off those consumers are after those changes in parameters. It is an unusual way of thinking. It is extremely quantitative, but it's a logic that, if you master it, will prove extremely useful in helping you think about the social world and the economic world in general. In order to give you a feeling for the power of this way of thinking, I'm going to develop some applications that you may think are not within the scope of traditional economics. One example is addiction. Under what conditions and under what assumptions about human behavior is it a good idea to forbid, to make drugs illegal, and under what conditions is it a good idea to legalize them? You're going to see that the model that we're going to develop gives you a very clear set of guidelines of the assumptions that you need to have for why drug legalization may be a good idea or a bad idea. Another example that I like and that is very pervasive in the real world is marketing. What exactly do the actions of marketeers do to consumers? How does that affect their behavior and the well-being that they derive from trading in competitive markets? Finally, another example that we're going to study to give you a feeling for the power of these tools is to try to put a value to new products. Every few months these days, Apple comes with a new version of its iPod, its iPad, or its iPhone. And millions of consumers in the United States race to lines on the store to be the first ones to acquire. These products cost in the order of $300 to $500. Question: what is the value to these consumers of being able to stand in line to get those products? Can we quantify exactly how much better off they are by being able to do those trades? The goal of these examples and several others that we're going to develop in the practice problems and the problem sets and in some examples during the lectures illustrate how the consumer theory that economists have developed have the power to effortlessly clarify a wide range of questions related to human behavior. I hope that you can tell that even controlling for my Spanish heritage, which is naturally hot-blooded, I really get passionate and enthusiastic about this material. It really, when I first learned it, changed the way I view the world. And I really hope that the material has a similar impact on you, that you find yourself in weeks to come and in years to come applying these ideas and these notions in many areas of your life, whether you're thinking about what candidate to vote or your own business or your academic life or even, God forbid, your marriage and your relationships. Now, without any more preambles, let's do some consumer theory.